Time is flying, my age is rising, and my wallet and bank account is declining because 2025 has been a bonkers year, especially if you're a Nike and Jordan Brand fan, which I am. It has been just a complete nuts year for sneakers. We're about nearly finishing the second quarter of the year, so I thought let's take a look at my favorite shoes, my 10 favorite shoes at the mid-year mark of 2025. Now, disclaimer. I must say, I grew up as a Jordan Brand and Nike kid. Those are just the shoes that I absolutely love, that I gravitate towards. I don't care what's coming through the hype cycle. For me, just off nostalgia and what I personally like alone, I'm always going to be a Nike and Jordan person. I'm not going to pretend like I love certain shoes just because I'm supposed to. This is just from the gut, instinctual. So here we go. Quick 5 seconds of your time if you like this video. If you've liked any of my past videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Number 10, it is the Jordan 11 Low Bread that dropped on April 26th for $190. Now, my humble opinion, the black and red is probably the best colorway of the Jordan 11, depending on my mood and like how I feel a certain day. It switches between that and the Space Jam colorway. But if I had to choose, I think I'm still going with the bread. And of course, this shoe actually was debuted by MJ on the 11 Low IE, which is actually the true like first low cut version of the 11s. But then in 1996, in a playoff game, he actually wore the Jordan 11 Low, not the IE, the Low, in this colorway as a PE. The Lows obviously didn't come out until the year 2000, and in 2015, we did see this colorway come out, but it wasn't true to form. It had a red ankle collar, not black, so this year was the first time we've actually seen this colorway drop as close to the original as possible. I have a whole like history and origin story of this shoe if you're interested in my review of this shoe, and it does come with the usual patent leather as well as the ballistic nylon mesh, delicious color blocking, delicious colorway, delicious outsole. The only reason why this is at number 10 hanging on to this list is because it is a low. I like the high cut version of the 11s much more than the lows. I think the lows, because of my big fat wide feet, just makes the shoe look kind of wide, a lot of overflow, like spilling over the edges. But yeah, if it wasn't the case and they just released the original like Jordan 11 bread, might be like top 2 of the list. Next up, it is the Jordan 4 SB Navy that first dropped on March 18th at celebrity retailers for $225, made its way onto sneakers on April 15th. Of course, in 2023, we got the SB Pine Greens, one of the best sneakers of that year. And of course, it being an SB, it is meant for skateboarding, so they did remove the Nike Air in the forefoot, as well as make the wings, as well as the booty tab much more flexible and soft. And there's also suede on the mudguard. Suede is a material that is often used for skateboarders, and this colorway, I don't think it's as good as the Pine Greens. It's still very nice, a very good shoe. It was one of 2 rumored like SB releases of 2025. The other one was the Friends and Family red and white pair. That shoe is just impossible to get, but despite all that, even though this looks very simple, very minimal, yeah, it's very hard to say no to a predominantly white Jordan 4. Now, number 8, it is the Jordan 3 Sole that dropped on May 15th for $200. Now, this is the Sole 2.0, so it's not exactly like a retro. The Sole 1.0 first dropped in 2018 to celebrate the Seoul Olympics from 1988, and it was very limited back then. It was a grail for a lot of people, and I guess they just bring back a ton of grails in 2025, maybe putting a spin and twist to the shoe. So they came out with these, and I have to say, I really like them. One thing that I didn't love, and a lot of people didn't like, is this yellowed sole here that didn't exist on the 1.0 version, and I discussed in my review, I was going to give Jordan Brand the benefit of the doubt, because yellow is one of the main colors that South Korea uses, like culturally, but when this shoe actually released, and the sneakers description, they called it just like a pre-aging of soles. So I don't feel like they actually thought about that tie-in, about that reference. They just did what they do on so many shoes now. It's overplayed, overdone. They pre-aged it way too much. So that's one big complaint that I have. But everything else in terms of the materials, the unboxing experience, the kind of South Korean reference on the ankle collar here, and the whole storytelling of the shoe, yeah, I think this is one of the best. And at number 7, it is the Nike Air Foamposite Galaxy that dropped on February 21st for $230. Now, this was a grail for a long time. First dropped in 2012, of course, and back then people weren't used to like insane designs on Foamposites, so when they came out with this, people were like fighting over it. It was stupid, it was insane, and Nike, perhaps in a bout of desperation to fix their lagging numbers and declining sales in 2025, decided to bring this shoe back. And I must say, even though I don't have the original version like in hand side by side to compare, but I do feel like if you just compare images, this version has like more 4K, like crisp version of graphics on the upper. Something about it just looks a bit more bold. That's just judging from images. I don't know. I don't have both in hand, and it is delicious. I'm not like a huge Foamposite guy. I don't go for like a ton of them, but in nice colorways, it is hard to say no because it's just so unique, so different. It is eye-popping, and this colorway, because of how historically significant it is, can't overlook it. Number 6, it is the Kobe 8 Protro Water that dropped on April 13th for $180, and this colorway first dropped in 2013, the first time that it's ever returned. There's a ton of Water colorways on different shoes. In like the 2010s, there was so many versions of Waters, and I feel like, at least just off the top of my head, or maybe not just off the top of my head, even thinking about it, I think this colorway, this Water colorway is the best of them all. The way they executed this, even though it's still crazy, that still lives up to the Water type of series, it's just done so nicely. And because it's a basketball shoe, I'm not really trying to wear these like casually off court. On the court, I don't mind wearing something super bold. This is just, yeah, done really, really well. You can see the different colorways that inspired this, that made its way onto this shoe. Most notably, that 3M Nike logo that came from the Mamba Curial. That was like a soccer-inspired Kobe 8, and it's got subtle glow-in-the-dark details. And even though nowadays in 2025, I would choose other basketball shoes to play over a Kobe 8, just in terms of performance, off colorway alone, and off my love for Kobe Bryant, this is a can't miss. Definitely going to remain on the top 10 of 2025 by the end of the year. And number 5, it is the Jordan 4 White Cement that dropped on May 24th for $225. I have to admit, this probably isn't in my top 2. It's number 3 or 4 out of the 4 OG colorways of the Jordan 4. It is just my preference, but that's only because all the OG Jordan 4 colorways are just insanely delicious. You can pick them like this and you really won't make a mistake. They're just so good. I won't say that the materials that they gave us is like insanely premium, but it's actually not like super thin, flimsy leather. And of course, people had QC issues with Jordan Brand, but regardless, OG colorways are just, they're always going to be held in high regard. There's just something about Michael Jordan putting a specific shoe and colorway on feet at the time at his peak. It just means something more. But with that said, I have another Jordan 4 ahead of this, and it's not an OG colorway because I think the execution of that is just, yeah, Michelin star rated delicious. Nigel Sylvester Jordan 4 Brick by Brick that released on March 14th for $225. Now, as a general rule, I think OG colorways just are better. Michael Jordan, who I still consider the GOAT, the fact that he wears a specific shoe automatically just increases the deliciousness points by like 10. You can't beat it. But sometimes, not often, occasionally, a new colorway, a non-OG colorway will come out and it's just irresistible. And these absolute bad boys is a prime example. The materials are just so nice. The execution and unboxing experience, the storytelling, the inspiration brick by brick that kind of describes Nigel Sylvester's come up with this kind of brick-like aesthetic on the mudguard hair with the very nice nubuck, a very monochrome color that I really like. For some reason, I just really like all orange or all red shoes. There's 3M on the tongue, and on a Jordan 4, it's so good. Do I really care about the bike air on the back? Not really, but it totally makes sense for Nigel Sylvester. This shoe is so good. And despite my reaction to it, it still didn't make the top 3 because the top 3 are just, they're titans. They're like Zeus, Thor, Odin. It's, yeah. And number 3, it is the Jordan 5 Grape that is dropping on June 21st for $215. The Jordan 5 is my favorite sneaker of all time, and the Grape is one of the OG colorways of the 5s. Michael Jordan didn't wear it on court, but he did wear it on the Wheaties box, and the person that kind of really propelled it into mainstream culture and pop culture was Will Smith. He wore it in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, one of the best sitcoms ever, and this colorway is so simple, but that purple and teal color, it still just turns heads. Predominantly white sneaker, but those 2 colors just make people go, remember back in the 90s when the Charlotte Hornets starter jackets were just an insane craze. A lot of it is due to that color combination, and it's the same here, and it works on the 5s too. Again, I won't say the materials that they gave us this time is like insanely premium, but I'm biased. I'm a Jordan 5 lover. A huge part of my childhood was watching Fresh Prince, but ignore all of that. Just look at this shoe on a shelf, and I challenge you not to look twice. You can't. And number 2, it is the Jordan 1 85 Bred. They dropped on February 14th for insane price of $250. Now, I really disliked how they released this shoe. They made it super exclusive, 10,000 pairs globally, I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, which isn't a problem. They've done like limited and exclusive releases a ton of times, but what annoyed me was they just kind of rubbed it in your face. Like all these corny and goofy marketing campaigns where they like put the band sign on Nike.com and they like gave tickets out to like Jordan brand employees because of course this was the banned colorway, even though the Airships was the actual shoe that was banned first. All of that, just seeing it all the time, just reminded all the consumers that they're making it super exclusive, but they're marketing it like it's gonna be all over the place. Just, yeah, I was annoyed at the whole campaign, but whatever. Looking at the shoe in a vacuum, like a lot of shoes on this list, I'm at a loss for words. And the materials, at least it justifies the price this time somewhat. Very thick leather, can feel kind of stiff out of the box, but it is great quality. It is the colorway that I think is the best Jordan 1 colorway ever. I'm a black sneaker lover. I have an affinity to black based sneakers on a Jordan 1, the most versatile and wearable Jordan brand shoe, I believe, and a shape and mold that closely resembles the original 1985 version. It's an 85 cut. They did do this shoe justice. I don't like how they released it, but when you get these in hand, put it on feet, you feel like a different person. But it is not number 1, because I am a Jordan 5 lover, and my number 1 so far for 2025 at the mid-year mark, it is the Jordan 5 Black Metallic Reimagined, and it is all biased, no objectivity, and I don't care because I'll tell you why. The Jordan 5 is my favorite shoe ever. It is the 35th year anniversary of the 5s, a great year for us Jordan 5 lovers. It is a black base sneaker. I'm a black sneaker lover. It is an OG colorway, comes with white laces out of the box. That is the PE that Michael Jordan wore. He actually did wear them with white laces. They added some like white piping to the panels of this shoe, but still didn't reimagine it where it was like, yo, this is reimagining it in a bad direction. And it does, just the nature of the material and color, it does pick up a lot of dust that you can see very clearly. I don't care. I don't care. I am biased. It is my list. It is number 1 so far. And without a doubt, I think by the end of the year, no matter what comes after this, it's either going to be top 3 or top 1. It is what it is. So that's it. Thanks for watching. So inclined. Let me know what you think of my list of the best shoes that I think came out in the first half of 2025. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.